Welcome. So in this video, I'm going to go straight into it. I'm going to teach you how I made $30,000 in less than 30 days passively from my sleep using this simple, boring trading strategy. Okay, the first thing you need to understand is that for this to work for you, you need to understand three things. Number one, the tickers, the actual stocks we're going to trade. Number two, the principles. Okay, this is the principle that governs this that you actually have to understand. And number three, the strategy. I'm going to warn you ahead of time. This strategy is so simple that if you overthink it, you're going to miss it. And that's usually what happens with the best things in life. They're usually simple to do. You just have to have faith in them. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've trained over 3,300 students, and I've been using this strategy literally for the last 8 years to make profits and teach students how to make profits as well. I mean, I can put screenshots on the screen where you see people doubling their money in less than 24, 48, 72 hours, or making 50% of their money in the same time. But the first thing you need to understand is that if you're not trading stocks, this is not going to work for you. People try to copy my strategy and then they won't pick dumb stocks or stocks that are about to crash or penny stocks. That's not going to be it. You need stocks with volatility. So how do we find that? Okay, we need the Standard and Poor 500. What is the Standard and Poor 500? Well, it's short for the S&P 500. It is the top 500 companies in the United States. And when people buy an index fund and when people buy the S&P 500, they are actually accidentally buying this ticker, okay? When they buy the S&P 500, they're actually accidentally buying the stocks that are contained in it, one of the 500 stocks. So if a company, for example, was to join the S&P 500, even if their price was low, just because of the fact that they're in the S&P 500, every time somebody buys the S&P 500, the stock is going to skyrocket. An example of this is Palantir, ticker PLTR. Okay, Palantir is a government company created by Peter Thiel, and they do government contracts, I believe, in privacy and security. The day they joined the S&P 500, literally within a year, their stock price went from $15 to about $85. It literally 4x in a year. Not because people were looking at the company, or people were super excited about the company, just because they were part of the S&P 500. It's like being in a gang, right? And when the gang wins, everybody wins, okay? I don't know if that's a good example, but you get what I'm trying to say. Or like being in a country club, okay? Anybody country club wins, everybody wins. The same thing here. So the important thing is that the only companies we're going to do this in have to be in the top 50 of the S&P 500. If they are not in the top 50 of the S&P 500, this strategy is going to like literally backfire. You see what I'm saying? Like if they're not in the top 50 of the S&P 500, this strategy is going to lose its potency. It has to be that. Matter of fact, I usually stick around the top 20. So how do you actually find out the top 50? The first thing you want to do is literally go on Google, and I'm going to pull it up real quick, and literally go S&P 500 by weight. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull up all the companies by weight, right? The biggest one is Microsoft, then is Nvidia, then is Apple, then Amazon, then Alphabet, which is Google, then Meta, which is Facebook, broadband. I've literally done this strategy on a lot of these companies, okay? But remember, top 50 and up, okay? Anything below the top 50, the lower you go, the less likely chance that this is going to work. That's the number one of this strategy, okay? It has to be in the S&P 500, okay? Number two, you want to stick to about 7 or 8. 7 or 8 of these tickets that you watch and you swing all the time. That way you find out how they move, how they work, and then you become familiar with them. For me, my 7 is Netflix, okay? Apple, Nvidia, Meta. Oh, I love me some Meta. That's Facebook right there. Okay. PLTR, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Most of the time, this is what I'm usually using this strategy on, okay? You can take my 7 or 8, you can find your own 7 or 8, it's totally up to you, but these are the tickets I'm usually swinging. Then next comes the principle, like how does this strategy actually work? Well, what powers the strategy is very simple, guys, and it's this word called momentum. What do you mean by momentum? Okay, If a car is moving at 100 miles per hour, the likelihood for it to stop, even if it sees a truck coming, is going to be hard. Okay, so we want stocks that are moving with momentum in a certain direction. And what we look for is when that momentum breaks, we then get into the trade. So most times the market goes up. Okay, so if the market is going up, the data actually suggests that 70% of the history of the stock market, the S&P 500, is going up, right? So if it's been going up for days, weeks, years, for it to go down, it means that there's a major event happening. There's a catastrophic event that has happened, and we need to capitalize on that. And sometimes we will see the chart break that trend before news even comes out, right? Because big money is actually acting before the information gets distilled down to the general public. So the trade is very simple. The strategy is very simple, right? Based on momentum. You draw a trend line across the trend, okay? And once we break the trend to the downside, you get into the trade and make money to the downside with the market, okay? And that's why I love trading options, right? With options, okay, this is an options trading strategy. With options, when we break the trend, we can buy puts and make money as the market goes down. Matter of fact, I just did this the other week. I saw Tesla break literally a chart to the downside. I got into puts and I made money when the market goes down. Similarly, in the same way, if you see a downtrend in the market and you see a break to the upside, as soon as it breaks that trend line to the upside, guess what? You should get in long, or with options, we got that calls. And we make money as it goes up. Remember, the whole point of this is momentum. For it to break a trend this way and go the other way where it's breaking the trend line, that means that there's a lot of momentum going in the other direction. So what we want to do is capitalize on a short little momentum that it has, somewhere between 2 and 7 days, make 50% to 100% on our money, like literally double our money, 7 days or less, get in and get out. Okay, you're not here for a long time, you're here for a fun time. That is this trade. And you get out, if it comes back the other way around, you get out. Simple as that. That's how the strategy works. So how do you actually apply this in several situations? That's where the trick comes in, okay? The first thing you need to understand is you need to just believe your eyes. If you see a line break, guess what? If you see the market going up like this, okay, and we break to the downside, believe your eyes that we're gonna go down. Now you just have to add rules around it, and then that's a 10 minutes trading strategy. You see how you should be able to spot this? Like, now you just add rules around this, and that's literally the 10 minutes trading strategy. You see how you should be able to spot this trade in literally 10 minutes or less? Okay, you spot the trade in 10 minutes or less, you stay in it for 7 days or less, you make your money and you get out. So here are the rules to the strategy, okay? Your stop, 30% max. If you lose more than 30%, get out of that trade. Don't even ask yourself any reasons. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You got into that trade wrong. Number 2, profit target, minimum 50%. But honestly, on average, we see somewhere between 80 to 200% on our money. And guys, this is within 7 days or less. If I'm in a trade for about 4 or 5 days and we're not going higher and we're not moving, I'm going to cut that trade. That means that the momentum is dying down. Because remember, guys, the whole principle of this, we're trading, is momentum. Okay, we want to be here for a good time, not a long time. Get in, make our money, and get the heck out, okay? So that's the rules. Your stop loss is going to be at 30%. Your profit goal is 50 to 100%, and you're in there for 7 days. Okay. Now, how do you pick the contracts? Okay, with options trading, you're buying contracts. Well, the simplicity is you're only gonna buy calls when you think it's gonna go up and puts when you think it's gonna go down. As far as contract picking, you just look at where it has the most volume and open interest. Volume just means who's buying that day. Okay, open interest means who's bought the whole time. That's literally what it means. So literally, if you see that 10 million people bought a particular options contract, that is the one you buy. You don't overthink it. Once you see the break happen, then you start shopping. It's like, imagine if Hermes said, hey, we're having a 99% off sale, right? That's the signal. That's the strategy. The break of the trend line, that's the 99% sale. Now you just need to figure out, okay, what's your budget? What are you going to buy? How much of it are you going to buy? That's volume and open interest. That's what that's all about, okay? You want to go in and see, hey, which purse is everybody buying? Or which tools is everybody buying? That is the one you want to buy. Don't overthink it, because there are tens and tens and tens of analysts doing research, figuring out the right one to buy. So you just follow them, okay? And a lot of times that's going to get you the money you need to make 50, 200% on your money. Okay, so what I use is this trend snap system on this, and it's very simple. This is a trend line trade. If the trend line breaks up, you go long. If it breaks down, you go short. So right now, this is Apple. The price is $198. I'm actually going to show you this trade in real time. We're going to do it together. Okay, you see that right there? That is a line that I've drawn to kind of mark the trend here, okay? And if I go even closer, right, you can see this is on the 1 day chart, which is beautiful, okay? If I go even closer, you'll see that we're pretty much at that line. If we break this line to the downside, I'm gonna go short. And what I'm looking at trading right now is the Apple 180 put, which is $161 right now. So keep an eye out on that, okay? And today is June 12th, and this is 12:19 p.m. as a timestamp. On another chart, we actually broke it. If we do a trend line, just remove this right here. If I make it literally as accurate as possible, you'll see we actually already broke it. You see that? We actually already broke it by making it more precise. So yes, this is a trade I would enter today, okay? My stop loss will be 25-30%, or if we go above this candle right here. And my goal is literally down here at 169s, okay? So I would then do the July 18th, 2025, 180 or 175 put, one of these two, or even the 185. So let's actually do this, okay? This is what I'm gonna choose. So right now it's $235. Let's come back in 7 days or less. Today is June 12th. So we'll check back by June 20th and see whether we can double this 200 bucks. And by the way, you can buy 1, you can buy 5, you can buy 10. You can buy as much of this as you want to equal the dollar amount you want to buy. But what we want to pay attention to is the percentage of this, okay, and see how it actually behaves in real time, okay? So we'll check back soon. So today is now June 13th at 3:58 p.m., literally almost a day later. And let's go back and look at those puts before the market closes, right? We're looking at it, okay? The 185 were like 240, 250. Now you see the 190 was like 234. Now you see it's about 294. So that's about a 40% increase on this in 24 hours, okay? So yesterday when we looked at it, it was about 230, 240. If I remember, now it's about 290. So that's a 25% literally increase on this trade in 24 hours. And if you look at the chart, you can see it's heading down, right? So that trend line that I drew the other day, okay, when it broke it, I told you guys that we were going to head down, and there we are. We're heading down. Very simple trade. You just draw the trend line. It touches 1 or 2 points. Once it breaks it to the downside, you get puts for shorts. The opposite, if it was going up, right, if we're playing long, once it broke it to the upside, let's say I come here and I do this, okay, you see, once it broke to the upside, boom, for literally 15 days straight, it went up. And this is Apple. So I showed you guys this, an example of this in real time, and see how you can make 25% on your money. So imagine putting 10 grand in this, you'll be up 2,500 today. Or putting 20 grand in this, you'll be up literally like 5K today. All from literally putting money into the market, following this simple trade, and waiting 24 hours. Okay, that's how it works. I had a student literally learn this strategy literally in 1 hour last week, found her own trade, and made 30% on her money literally in 24 hours already, because the trade is so simple. So what I want you to do is, if you want me to do a longer breakdown of this strategy, like actually buying the contracts on camera so you guys can see me buy it and explain it that way, just comment strategy below and I'll do that. I also recorded a video below going over some of these things a little bit more, and I'll catch you on the winning side.